Okay, we were having some problems with the shifter and couldn't get it to shift. It would intermittently shift, and the last run it seemed like it shifted until I watched the video and I saw that it may not have shifted twice. It did get into high gear. We did make a good run. So what I've been doing is changing this relay, changing the RPMs. Didn't seem to make any difference. The support sent me a new solenoid, put it in. It worked half of once and then it didn't want to work at all. Last night I traced the wiring all the way back. Actually put a new battery in it. Had to get a different charger for the battery. But as I was following these wires back, this is the one that goes to the solenoid. But as I was messing around, you can see this wire here seemed to be loose. And I thought it was the connection, right here. But it turns out that both of those wires were loose on the post, which is right there. So I tightened that up, went up and tested the relay, and the shifter jumped. And that's what it's supposed to do. So I was pleased with that. I think we got the problem solved. And hopefully this next time we go out racing, I can actually think about driving the car rather than whether the thing's going to shift or not. Stand by. Good morning from Dragway 42, West Salem, Ohio. We're at the Little Bucks Hootenanny, which is a lot of fun. Put on by Brian and CJ Yeager, and I think this is like the 5th year. I think this might be our 2nd or 3rd time. So we're getting ready. We're going to run no box today. There's a lot of cars here, and it should be a lot of fun. So hang with us. All right, that was our one and only time trial for the whole weekend. So I had an 049 light, not great, but it was okay. And the 60 foot was 1.513, a little off there. ET was 710, so at 95 miles an hour. And I expect that's what it would do. That's what it did before in the heat. So that's probably about what we'll dial, something close to that. Well, we had our one and only time trial for the whole weekend. And I had no 49 light. The guy in the other lane deep staged, and as soon as I staged, they set us off. So I wasn't quite expecting that. But anyways, 60-foot time was a little slow, a 1.51, and the ET was 7.10, 710 at 95 miles an hour. We have a headwind today, and it's hot. So if you remember back to when the first few runs we made on the new motor, it ran 710. So not unexpected. And probably dial someplace in there. I don't know. We'll find out.
Oh my God.
Ryan Biddle, 716 the dial in. The truck left side is Bud Miller. A 7-10 on the Mustang right side.
Well, that was quite interesting. I was red. I dialed 710 and I was 027 red and I ran a 710. They call that red and dead on. All right, we're going to buy back. Well, we just had our first round. It's still hot. I dialed a 710 and I had a red light, 027 red, and I ran 710 with a 01. 7.101, right on the dial in. They call that red and dead on. So we're going to fly back, or we're going to run the re-entry round. I think 710 might be the number right now.
That'll bring up Kevin Burns, left side, 697 the dial in, and Bud Miller on a 710.
Friday of the Little Bucks Hootenanny, we're done. I got beat in the re-entry round. So I dialed 710, he dialed 697. So I got a slight head start. He had an 039 light, I had an 077 light, and that made the difference right there. So I was concerned that because it's cooler, I might break out. And it was different because I could see him all the time. all the way through. So I got on the brakes, and but I think he already had me covered. That's the part I got to learn now. So I ran a 712, almost a 713. And he ran a 702, almost a 703, because he must have been on the brakes too. And his margin of victory was 0.0076 seconds. In other words, he would have crossed just 7 thousandths of a second before I did. So, fairly good run. I should have stayed in it. I probably would not have broken out, and maybe would have made him break out. I don't know. So that's the part I got to learn. So we're through for the first night. That was fun, and at least I didn't red light. Anyway, so we're going to get ready to go to bed, get up, do it all over again tomorrow. See you then.